We have some subway construction going on. I think it's going to open in about a year or two, and that's going to be awesome. They really don't want us to go over this bridge. I hope it's open. Wow, there's a lot of cops. I've seen more cops in the last week on the light rail trains than ever before. You know, there's like a million different ways to go sometimes. And I would go through this neighborhood to go over the bridge and home after work. And in the last couple of years, I've seen the neighborhood change a lot. So we're gonna look for remnants of the more old school. The first freeway was built in the early 50s. That would have been US 101, which evolved into the 5, or part of it did. And thereafter, Caltrans just decided that Boyle Heights was just fertile ground just to build freeways all over the fucking place. So it is interesting to look at what was an existing neighborhood. Watch it just get sliced and diced. Electric vehicles hopefully will change a lot with that. It won't be, maybe in the future, it might not be the worst thing in the world to be next to a freeway except for the noise, but you take away the engine noise and that takes away some of the sting. Are roundabouts a sign of gentrification? I don't know. So it used to be when you wanted to get to the other side, when you wanted to get to school or work or what, you could just walk across. And then this freeway, all of these streets used to go through. This used to be a grid. I actually have an old map that I guess I'll throw it up on there that shows that this was just an expansive neighborhood with lots of connected streets and lots of stuff, a lot of vibrancy. And what's funny is after, you know, the demographics changed and stuff, I know that kind of predates the freeway, but the freeway was just kind of like, attach this to the visor. This is pretty cool. That seems to work out just fine. Keep it simple. And bars on the window. I think any place that has bars on the window on the ground floor, that's kind of a normal thing. But I wanted to do a thing about LA and bars on the windows and parts of the city when you walk around. You kind of... Morning.
Monday.
When you walk around parts of central LA that are more affluent nowadays, you still see some remnants of bars on the windows on the houses and stuff like that, even though most people have taken them down. So I don't know if that's a big deal. It seems like if you're taking the bars off the windows that had been there for many decades to protect you and your family, taking the bars off, it seems like that's a kind of a leap of faith. This is the city of Los Angeles doing its work with the sidewalks. I don't know how they get away with that, with ADA and all that. And I heard a rumor, I don't know if it's true or not, but the rumor is that the city of LA can't maintain the sidewalks because the money is being spent on lawsuits. So they're paying millions of dollars out in lawsuit payouts, and therefore they have no money to maintain the sidewalks. Quintessentially Los Angeles. I'm not surprised by it if it's true. Got the Legacy Pet Store. I used to have birds like that. I think everyone did. They're all over the place. There's always birds for sale. Well, already I can notice that almost every storefront is activated. The small businesses. The sad thing is that once upon a time, it wasn't that hard to start your own business, rent out a storefront. Last night I was talking to the food truck guy that I've gone to for a couple years, asking him how business is because I see he's a lot busier now than he used to be, and he kind of went over his story about him and a bunch of his coworkers worked in a restaurant, a brick and mortar restaurant, got some knowledge about how to run the business and run the operation properly. And then he just said that they were going to open up a restaurant, and then he described the process. The city just basically just says, hell no, you're not going to do that. You need to pay us first. He said that he needed $50,000 in permits and fees before spending a dime on the actual business. Pay $50,000 in fees to the city, who will then tax you. I know that's the way things are, but that is just, it blows my mind that there's people that run this city that are not mortified by that. I might actually want to, oh, this is the place in question. I bet you that alley gets scrubbed with graffiti daily. Where's the fat food? Hey, they waved at me. They didn't flip me off. See, we're already off to a really good start. It looks like, I mean, it's Victorian, but I think it's like a little bit after Victorian, so it might have been like a template house. In a neighborhood this old, there's so many, oh man. Of course I had to get a fucking drop of water on my hands. Well, hopefully it doesn't rain on us. I wasn't even expecting there to be any rain, but I've already got the dreaded particulates on the spectacles. So it's kind of just drizzly. I was jive. I nodded what's up to her, and she was like, fuck you. As I would too. I mean, shit. How... Man, all right, so I'm gonna have to do this in a manner that is keeping the lens out of the rain. It's not too cold, even though it's the middle of winter. It's been really warm lately. I just need to worry about keeping my lens clean because I don't have any solutions for that at the moment. Yeah, so I'm stuck in selfie mode because the wind is blowing the rain into my face, which is not that great, but it's better than into the camera. Doesn't that look like Biff Tannen's house. Or wait, no, the one down the street. That's the one he threw the basketball. Hey, go get that ball yourself, fool. Oh, dude, look at that. That's awesome. I can't. Sorry. I got the rain's being a bitch. So this is a house that's run its course. See, if you were gonna fix that up, that's like a couple $100,000 just to get you, you know, just to get you into the gate. You might even barely be able to have a heater at that point. But you look at this. Let's see, the old chain link fences, the staple. Which Cheech and Chong movie? I can't remember which one. He's in the van. He's got the hydraulics, and he bounces onto the people's yard when they're throwing a party. He wants a boarded up house. It's like, it's boarded up. It looks like shit. And it's like, don't worry, some affluent person's gonna move in here in short order. I like a nice, you know, clean-ish community. If you look, there's no litter anywhere. See, this is perfect. Little graffiti's fine, but I'm not a big fan of graffiti. You know, there's obviously differing opinions on what is artwork and what is an undue sense of entitlement to other people's private property, less weirded out by people tagging on freeways and stuff like that. You know, if you live in the neighborhood, it's fine. You can make your neighborhood look like shit. I guess that's your right. But it's not fair to your neighbors. They don't want that shit. Really, within a mile of you, there's freeway access to San Diego, Mexico, Riverside, San Bernardino, Sacramento, San Francisco, Bakersfield, everywhere. So I knew that growing up. I grew up in Boyle Park where the 5 and 91 freeways meet, and that was always, once I got my license, I can just get on the freeway and go everywhere. There's the white coffee place again. Ooh, pet grooming. See, I should take my dogs here. That is definitely one of the perks of the neighborhood, are the amazing views of downtown. Multifamily housing, and not anymore. So I wonder if an investor is just kind of sitting on it. Do you know when the people moved out of here?
No, sir.
Oh, okay. This is one of my favorite things about older neighborhoods. See how this house comes right out to the street? That's against building codes nowadays. You can't build it like that. It's got to be built differently because building and safety or whatever said that this is not how we want buildings to be. It looks normal to me. It looks fine to me. 2 stories right out to the street. I don't see any problems with it. I was gonna drive to Hollenbeck Park, but I don't think it's very far. We might get a little bit of rain on us, but this is actually where I did my episode the other day. Isn't it amazing? We go places drinking, and then the next day, it always looks so different. Actually, I've done a lot of driving down this street, and pretty familiar with it from my car, but it's not very often that I get out and walk around. So I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think there used to be 2 lanes in each direction here, and they did what LA lovingly calls a road diet. Actually just makes the street more normal. It's a place for bikes, only 1 lane for cars. But when the cars are turning, they do not stop traffic. Because if you drive down any of the numbered streets from east to west, there's a center line and that's it. So people making a left turn, they hold up traffic. See, I love it. These are just inserts. Like, you lay it like tile around the windows. You can tell these have been painted over many, 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 many times. It's probably from the 1920s. Multi-unit housing. Definitely stuff out there if you're interested in the history of Boyle Heights. You cannot forget where it started. There's a couple of cops in the Allenby's restaurant there. I was hoping they're going to come out, but they're not. They're LA County sheriffs, so people get confused. They confuse Boyle Heights with East LA, and they're neighboring communities, but they are completely distinct. East LA is designated as, well, it's not designated, it's LA County. It doesn't have a city, it doesn't have a municipality, so all of its services come from the county, including the police enforcement, which is done through LA County sheriffs. Boyle Heights is LAPD, Hollenbeck Station. Oh, look at that little Chewy. Hey, bub. Hi. See, oh, that's the other community over there. Love that shit. I noticed that when they remodel shopping centers, they're using the common sense approach of reusing these signs because they don't get made anymore, you know? Definitely something that was an art form back in the day. This used to be a film developer, I'm sure. I'm sure you remember seeing these everywhere. If you're old enough and you're a kid, those were everywhere. Local staple. That one's not a drive-through. I think there's still a couple drive-throughs around. Mariachi Plaza. This is the Metro Gold Line that was, I think it was built in 2003. So it's been running for a minute. But I love that they decided to make the line go underground. It's already loud enough here as it is. And having these underground, having the line underground just makes it that much better. Dedicated in 1998, that particular podium, but this has been here for generations. This hotel, 1889. So some very important milestones in Southern California history. 1890 is really when everything happened. The railroad made its way to Los Angeles by the 1880s, and it was really in vogue to speculate, to buy tracts of land for development. Some of this stuff is right in the middle of everything nowadays. Like think the San Fernando Valley and even parts of the Miracle Mile on the west side. Those areas didn't come into being until after the automobile. But prior to that, it's the Old West, and it was all served by the railroad. There's maps out there that show all of the old tracks. They used to go places. Now some of them are just used as abandoned, you know, the freight lines, some of them are abandoned. And, but they're there. You can see how the fabric of Los Angeles and Orange County and Riverside and all that, it's all tied.